Happy Sunday, Stampers and Paper Crafters. This is Facebook Live number 340. My name is Joy Borwedge, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. I live in Burnsville, Minnesota, and I have been a demonstrator since August of 1999. I have a nice card. It's something that you can use the design for all occasions. The colors are kind of late summer, early fall. And I'm using a stamp set I haven't used in quite a while. And this was actually one of my favorite stamp sets when the last year's holiday mini came out, and that demonstrators got a chance to pre-order in August, I think, and the catalog went live in September. So I haven't played with it for quite a while, and so you'll have to just see in a moment what I'm talking about. But anyways, I'm going to put you down at the table in just a second. If you get motion sickness or anything like that, just look away, and I'll let you know when I am done fooling around with the camera. All right, so hold on. So, as I said, today is Sunday, and hopefully you had a nice weekend. The twins did not. So let's see if I twist it this way, and there we go. Okay, so now, oops, boy, I'm still getting the hang of this thing, the way I have it set up, and gotta tighten it a little bit. Rita, welcome. Okay, I think... All right, I'm almost done tightening it up. There we go. I'll move this a little bit towards me. Okay, I'm squish in just a little bit. There we go. Come on, behave. Okay, I think I got it. All right, so there we go. Happy Sunday, Rita. So again, my name is Joy Borwedge. I have an Instagram page at Stampin' for Joy. My online store is stampinforjoy.stampinup.net. PenguinZ33 at outlook.com is my email address, so that if you are not working with a demonstrator and you would like a catalog sent to you, please send me an email and I'll send it out. Then my host code is NQ3UVNXR. However, I think I'm going to be changing that. Today is Sunday, so probably tomorrow, which is Monday. Tuesday, there's something special going on, and I'll talk to you about that in just a second. Okay, so first of all, that thing that I was going to talk to you about is Tuesday. Free shipping on all orders that are $75 or more in my online store. That's the subtotal. So, number one, free shipping. And number two, it's still going on where you will collect a $5 off coupon for every $50 spent. So if you had $100 in my online store, you would get two $5 coupons sent to you so that you could spend them in August, and you save free shipping. So that is a great time to stock up on cardstock, your adhesives, designer series paper that you just ran out of your favorite pieces. So things like that. Cardstock that you've not ordered before, and enlarge your collection. So that is for every $50 you spend, you get a $5 coupon sent to your email, and you can collect as many codes as you want to use on your order in August. And you can split them up. You can use all the codes all at one time. There is no limit. However, you have to use all your codes by the end of August, because after that, they will be null and void. Now, the online exclusives, if you've been watching me, was updated July 3rd, and this is called the Season of Green and Gold Suite Collection. That is a stunning set. Now, the Simply Zinnia set is still there, along with the Encircled in Nature. I should move that over a little bit so you could see that better. Then we also have the Changing Leaves bundle, which is actually, with that bundle, you get a hybrid embossing folder. So you get a stamp set, a dies, and an embossing folder. So that is a really cool thing to check out. Potions and Spells bundle, that's also available. And the other one that was introduced is the Iconic Celebrations Suite Collection. Now, there are more things that were introduced in the online store, but these are just a few samples to kind of wet your whistle on. All right, so the card that we're going to be making today is this one. So this has a little bit of texture using the 3D embossing folder and a stamp set that has a coordinating die set. So let's talk about that and what we're using. So we are using the Autumn Leaves dies as well as the Autumn Leaves stamp set. Now this can be found in the annual catalog on page 74. Now, because this was introduced in the holiday mini catalog last year, it does not have the bundle pricing of the 10% off, but probably a lot of you have it already, but some of you may not have. So if you don't have this and you really like the card that I am going to demonstrate today, you can purchase this in my online store, and you have to type in both the numbers according to the page. Laura, welcome. You need to send me your email, my dear. You won a card from one of the Facebook Lives. All right, so here is the Spotlight on Nature dies. So this is a 3-pager. So what that means is that there's 3 different types of dies in here, and they each have a different trim. Now we're going to be using this one today, and so there might be something, say like a size missing, but that's okay. There's sizes missing because that's what we're using today. And then this one, there are sizes missing, I think this one, because I'm actually planning cards for another online virtual event. So got that going on. Okay, so that's what we're using today. And let's show you, let's see, the dies. I wanted to show you what the dies do with this stamp set. So I like to do a cheat sheet often with my dies, just because when you look at them, it's like, oh my goodness, what does that do for me? So in the stamp set, you could see these items right here, these 3 things. Arizona sounds fun. So here, these are stamped, and then the dies cut them out. And then here, everything else is an addition to the stamp set. So it's above and beyond the stamp set. So all the greetings fit through here, and these are extra pieces. So this is one of my favorite stamp sets that were introduced in the Holiday Mini last year. Okay, so that's what those look like. And so they are still available in the online store, and you can check them out in the annual catalog in the, what do they call that? Yeah, I had to yawn. I don't, sorry about that. Let's see, what do they call that? The Encore, the Encore products, because anything that you see kind of the smaller size, that means it's something that was introduced in a previous catalog. So let's just pick one. We'll flip through here. So like these right here. So when you see that, that means that it's new, it's introduced in this catalog, but the Encore, kind of smaller, that means it was in a separate publication and it came back, but not as a bundled price. All right, so let's show you what the measurements are of the cardstock that we're playing with today. All right, so we have a piece of Very Vanilla, which is 3 by 1.5. Another piece of Very Vanilla, which is 3 by 3. And last week, I made a card. Not last week. It was the Thursday before. So this is Facebook Live. Let's see. I have to get out my Facebook Live. These are all my Facebook Live pieces, so then I know what I did. So this is Facebook Live number 338, and this has that copper oxidized paper. Well, today I wanted to use the other color, which has the pretty peacock oxidized copper. So I want to put that 338 right there. Okay, so let's see. So this is 3 by 3 of that oxidized copper. This is the inside panel, which is 5 by 3 3/4 of Very Vanilla. We have a piece of Early Espresso, and this is 4 by 5 1/4. And the card base, which is a quarter sheet, almost, or I should say half a sheet, almost. This is 8 by 5 1/4, and I scored it at 4. So these two pieces are just 1/4 inch smaller, okay? And then last but not least, this is actually going to be our base to the card base, because I like to do this a lot so that you could see the color when you look at the card, and when you open the card, you also see that color as well. So this is Pretty Peacock, and that is a quarter sheet of cardstock. So it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And so I like to let this sit here for just a moment so that you can come back, pause it, get all your cardstock cut up, and then you can recreate this card. Now, if you don't have, say, I'm going to be using the Spotlight on Nature dies. If you don't have that and you have, say, the deckled circles, that would work. Or, let's see here. What was the other one called? Do not remember where I put it. Stylish Shapes. I have different bins for different projects, so I have to remember where I put it. Okay, so that should be enough space. So we are actually going to be using an embossing folder today and die cutting. So we're going to use the Stampin' Cut emboss machine 2 different ways. And let's see here. I think, first of all, we're going to use the bone folder. And we're going to make sure that the corners are straight and give that a nice crease on both sides. And then that way you can see it lays flat perfectly. All right, so we're just going to set that off to the side. And might stamp the inside panel. And I forgot stuff. I forgot to cut 2 pieces. So I guess what we're going to have to do is cut them up. I was like going, there seems to be more that I need. That's okay. So what we'll do is we'll grab the, I'm going to grab 2 kits, Pretty Peacock, and so anytime I need something, I go to my scraps. Now this is a large wood case, and I put 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in one, and then I put 5 in another. And so one faces this way, one faces that way. However, this was in color, so it only gets 1 pack. So I take the first 5, and I do this alphabetically, and I put it in the case on the left, and then I take the other 5 and put it in the case on the right. So that's how I do my scraps. Anything that is less than a quarter sheet goes in here. So that way I get this out first before I get a new sheet and cut it up. And then that way I kind of use up stuff that would have not, let's see if that'll work. But I'm not going to break into a quarter sheet if I don't need to. Okay, so first of all, we're going to see, yep, that's going to fit, and that's going to fit. Cool. Now this one, I don't necessarily need my stem, so that'll work. See, that's a piece of scrap. So we're just going to stamp. We're going to put these back on here so I don't lose them. So this here and this piece. So what we're going to do is we're going to stamp on our images, and then we're going to cut them out. So we're going to do tone on tone. So this is Pretty Peacock, and we're actually going to stamp. Now I'm going to show you something. And I know I've shown you this before. So this is a distinctive stamp. So I'm actually going to take my spoon and I'm just going to push the ink down. Now, what that means is you just go tap, 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 and you just push down, and you allow that ink to transfer. So now, if you were to look at this, you see the tiny little dots in there, so that gives it shading. And then, so you notice the difference. So if you have a really juicy ink pad, you're going to want to do that. Now, I'm not going to do that with the next one, and then you might be able to see the difference with pushing that ink down when you have a distinctive stamp set. Now, let's get out the Wild Wheat. Now, Wild Wheat, when this catalog comes to, what was that? Oh, my folder, my paper holder folder. When this catalog comes to an end, this Wild Wheat and all its other ink colors are going to go away. Now, see, I did not push that ink down, and so down in there, it got a little gloppy. So I'm actually going to flip it over, and I'm going to clean my spoon with a baby wipe. I could probably do it with my Simply Chamois, but I'm going to do it with a baby wipe just for now. And I'm going to clean that off. I could have done the lighter color first, but that's okay. And now I'm going to push down. And then you'll get to see the difference between having an ink pad that's really juicy, and see the definition there. compared to that, I mean, it is a lot darker, but you have more definition in there. And that's with the Stampin' Up! Distinctive stamps. Then also, we're going to take this, I'm going to put that to the side, and I'm going to grab this again and just lightly tap it. The ink hasn't changed too much since I spooned it down. Now this is going to be the inside of the card. And see how, so you can definitely tell the difference between having that ink pushed down and it's more of a crisp rather than blotchy. Okay, so that is that for our leaves. Now the greeting for the outside of the card is I'm thankful. And we're just putting that there. Okay, and I think the inside of our card is, so I'm thankful, and then to have you as a friend. And then that is going to be on the inside of the card. Just allow that ink to transfer. Okay, and there's a little fuzzy there. So, all right, so we're going to close all that up. Get rid of that piece right there. Okay, so now we're done actually with our stamps. And we're going to clean these off with our Simply Chamois. And then we're going to get out the big Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. And this is just water. Now, when you get your chamois in the online store and you get it to your house, you're going to get a sheet that is this big. I cut mine into 4. Number 1, because when I do my events, then I can have a chamois at each table. Plus also, I had a cat that liked anything foam. So even though I haven't had him for quite a while, it's something that I still do. All right, and I'm going to clean off that so I don't set my finger in anything in that spoon. And the reason why I use a spoon is because there's no part on here that's going to rip any of my ink pads when I do that. I don't want to say technique, but when I do that to my card. So, all right, so now this one's actually done. So we're going to stick this on the inside of the card, and I'm going to use my Stampin' Seal. And the reason why I didn't attach this is because if this was crooked or I didn't like it, I could flip it around and still have another side. So I am actually going to add that to the inside of the card and get a nice, there we go. And then we're going to put this on the base and give that, again, a nice border all the way around. Okay, so now I can put that up to the side, and we're going to grab all our pieces that we're going to die cut with and grab the Stampin' Cut Emboss machine. And all its various plates. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to use plate number 1. I should say platform number 1. It's not a plate really, it's a platform. And on here it tells you how you should create your sandwich. And we are going to be using a 3D embossing folder, and you can tell that it's a 3D embossing folder. Number 1, in the annual catalog, it will say 3D embossing folder. And so that you know that you're going to want to use this gray platform that is number 4. So that's all we need is platform number 1 and the platform number 2. Now, Stampin' Up! Has their logo on the front of their embossing folders, and I tend to use that whenever there's a line right there. And I tend to use that to help me with my placement of my paper on the inside. So I line it up, and then I close it, and then I flip it to the front. Now, the spine of the folder always goes towards the rollers, the handle, however. And then all you do is place this on top. Now, this is, I was going to say, this is a directional folder, and it depends on what direction you want it to go. So, if your card is vertical or portrait, okay, you want your wood grain to go this way. If your card is landscape, then your wood grain goes this way. So pay attention to how your folder is made up, so then that way when you put it in, you get the way you want it. Because the design for me today is wood grain, and so I want it to go the long way, so portrait. So I put it in there the way I wanted it to go. All right, so that was the 3D, Timber 3D. It's on page 129 in the annual catalog, and I will not need that gray plate anymore. So I'll just put that off to the side. And then I put it where it goes, or kind of where it goes. So then that way I have less stuff on my table, so less stuff to fall around. This is adapter number 2. And this is plate number 3. It's a cutting plate. And then we're going to load up. I have to move this because it's sitting on some of my cardstock. All right, so we're going to load this up with the Designer Series paper and cardstock. I think we're going to have to do 2 passes. So we're going to do these 2. We're going to do all the leaves, and then we're going to do the circles. Might as well just do it that way. And then we'll do the greeting. Okay, so this can go that way, and this is going to go there, and this is going to go right there. Now I'm going to grab some Post-it notes to hold things in place. That way, when things get cut out, they don't tend to move. All right. And I need one more. There we go. That goes right here. So all the dies that we're using right now on this particular platform, they are all from the leaf set. The circles are from, so there's some really nice dies that will do your greetings in this leaf set. Yeah, love it. I could have done I'm tired. So let's see, stylish shapes. I could have used the stylish shape dies just because the die out of this piece right here would kind of coordinate, but it doesn't need to coordinate for what I'm doing. It's not like whoever's going to win this card and you're going to send it to somebody, they're not going to say, well, I don't like that. That's ugly. Okay, so now that everything is secure to where I want it, we're going to put plate number 2, plate number 3 on here as well. You know what? There's not a number on this one. Well, that's weird. Why is there not a number? I just noticed that now. It's new, so there's no reason why shouldn't have a number on it. I mean, I've used this pretty, you know, like I said, it's new. There's not that many things on here. I tried to keep one cutting and one protective. Oh, that's why it looks like it's cut up. It's because I flipped it upside down, and I'll show you when I do my other one. Okay, so that's what the little pin dots look like. So the stylish shapes would have kind of almost matched that. And then I'll just take this and put this on my little magnetic sheet here. So then that way, once I'm done, I drop things on the floor, you know, things like that. They're easy to find. Okay, so that cut out my leaves. I really like this color of wild wheat. It actually heightens other colors really nicely, and also it works like a gold, almost to me. All right, so I'm going to grab my Take Your Pick tool and poke those holes out, and that will take out the veins. Now, if you wanted to, and I didn't think of this just until now, you can use your adhesive sheets. And then that way you won't have to worry about putting glue on the back of those. But like I said, I use them, but most of the time I always forget to use them until after I've put it through the die cut machine. All right. Yeah, I know. Okay. Now, if you want, you could save this right here and then use that as a template. You can decorate your envelope with that. Use a sponge, dauber, and put that on the front of the card. Okay, so we'll put that on the magnet sheet, put the lid back on my people poker, and I can cut that up later and save that. Put that in my scrap pile. Now in my scrap pile, you know, my box gets too big, then I'll take all the smallest pieces out. Okay, so I am actually going to do this a little differently. I got two pieces here. I got a thin piece of Designer Series paper and cardstock, very vanilla. And so what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do two of them at the same time. And I'm going to put this on here, my Post-it notes. Okay, but I'm going to flip. This is my top plate. So I'm going to flip it upside down so that the first thing that the wheels come in contact with is the paper, and it's going to squish it down into the die, and that way I'll get a really nice cut. And that's why I said, and I'm going to go right through a second time, and that's why I put the Post-it note on there so nothing would move. But that's why I said I was wondering why it looked like it was cut, because it was. So I use one for cutting, and then I generally like to be able to see. So when you do that, you got to make sure that, see, like this right here, the indentation of the first time, I forgot to flip the plates when I did that. So if you use that technique when you are using your dies, and you keep one for cutting and keep one for top, you need to flip them. And take that Post-it note off. I like my Post-it notes because they don't rip off the cardstock. Sometimes washi tape did that, and so I had a hard time using washi tape. And then we're gonna put this away, and we're gonna grab all the parts that go with it. And then we're going to grab the die brush, Okay, so we can do this both at the same time because it hasn't moved. And isn't that pretty? Oh, there's a couple pieces. Now I have two take your pick tools. One is specifically for my die brush, so I'm not taking this off and putting on the other one. This way I don't have to worry about it. It sits in its protective corner. Again, this is foam, and nobody gets to chew on it. So, and then I'll get the little pieces out of here. Now this die brush comes with this foam piece, and now when I prep for events and I do a lot of die cutting, I do a lot of this. Clip it off to the side like this, clean it off for the next one, and once I get kind of a grouping, then I'll take it and put it in the recycling bin. But it's all clear now, so we could put that in there like that. I can toss that later, and then we'll save the, oops, there's this piece right here, so might as well just put that in between. All right, so now we are ready to go, and we're done die cutting, so we can put the people poker back on. And now we're going to grab my little trimmer, and I'm going to try to do this. Now, I did this before. I want to do a large piece and a large piece. I don't want to cut down half that circle because then trying to get that evened up, that would have been a pain in the tushy for me. So I'm just cutting a big piece and just trying to go halfsies, and if it doesn't, that's okay. But you could do 2 cards. Oh, that was perfect, and I didn't even plan that. You could do 2 cards with this and save this for the next card, or do 2 cards at the same time, and then don't put the greeting on there. One could be a happy birthday, and the other one could be, whatever you want it to be. All right, my nose won't stop tickling. Anybody having really bad allergies this year? I'm going to take a drink. All right, so we're going to grab my adhesive and my silicone mat. I love my silicone mat when I do my when I do my adhesives, just because if I run off, the adhesive doesn't stick to here, doesn't leave goopy parts on here, so then that way when I accidentally stick this in it, it's not going to get all goopy. All right, so I am going to line up the bottom circle and this circle and lay that down so that it looks like it's half and half. And there's a little bit of adhesive there, so I'm just gonna grab this eraser. Now Stampin' Up! Doesn't sell these erasers anymore, but I'm not getting rid of mine because apparently I need it quite a bit. Okay, so now that we have that, we can put that, actually we're gonna grab that, put that, we're gonna put our wood piece, come on, off you go. We're gonna put our wood piece on, and I'm actually going to put adhesive the whole way. And the reason why is because when you emboss, you generally warp your cardstock, and so I want it to sit nicely. Okay, so then now we're doing color on color, but I want to put
you know, I wanted to put some, I wanted to put this on here, but I didn't want to do the front flap of the card because then it kind of changes the texture of the front of the card, and when you open it up, it kind of seems flimsy. Not that it is, but because you actually played around with the fibers, you weakened it a little bit, and so I just kind of wanted to have a second piece there. So that's the reason why it's tone on tone. And so now we can put this on here. And now make sure when you put adhesive on here that you don't go through the holes, because you could see that. All right, I'm going to put that at an angle so it's not up and down, straight up and down, and a little bit more even from left to right. I guess that's pretty good. I'm eyeballing it. If you want to measure, go ahead. But nobody is going to sit there and critique you. Okay, so we're going to put that in there like that. But first of all, we are going to take the Wink of Stella, and I'm going to lay it down because I am just going to color the veins with the Wink of Stella. Now, if I were to lay this down on the silicone mat, it might get on the mat and it will lift off if it touches anything. So I don't want to, again, accidentally set my card in it. Ask me how I know. With like my greeting, my very vanilla greeting, I had to do that over twice because Buddy flipped it upside down and put it in the spot where the Wink of Stella was wet to put a dimensional on. So, grr. Alrighty. So now that is getting dry. We're going to flip this over in my finger, and I am going to use my liquid glue, and I'm just going to dab kind of where the points meet. All right, then I'm going to flip that around and then put that right there. Okay, and I'm just going to take this scrap piece of paper and burnish that. See, there's still some sparkle on there. And we'll do the same thing with this one. Kind of dab where the glue is. I mean, where the fatter parts are on your limbs. And then flip that over. Come on. Go where you're supposed to. There we go. And then, again, hit that. Okay. And you could see that shimmer. Isn't that cool? Okay, so then now we are going to lay down. Actually, I'm going to snip off those stems because nobody's going to see them. They just helped with holding on, well, gluing. Okay, throw that away. Okay, so then now put my glue back on. And then we're going to flip this upside down and put adhesive on it. Kind of like that. That goes right there. Okay, so then now we're going to put this right here. Okay, I'm going to kind of line that up to this side, and then I'm going to put dimensionals right there and right there. Take those off and line that up with the first one and lay that straight. Okay, perfect. And then we're going to take the adhesive backed metallic gems, and I'm really loving the copper on here. As you could tell, I haven't really used my silver. Okay, so we're going to grab a big one and put that right down there. And that just needs to move up a little bit. Come on. There we go. Now I'm better. Okay, and then now I'm going to take another one, put that right there. And I'm going to take a little one and put that right there. Okay. So then one more thing that we need to do is grab the Wink of Stella. Thank you, Laura. And we're going to use the Wink of Stella to only get the outside parts. Because if you were to go to the inside, there's all those little tiny dots of color. And if you were to hit that with the Wink of Stella, you would reactivate that ink and you would blend those little tiny white dots, or those little tiny blue dots, into losing its space. So let me show you what I'm talking about. So let me grab a scrap piece of paper and we'll do the Pretty Peacock. Okay, so you can see the white dots, the blue dots, but that white space. So if you were to take that Wink of Stella and color that in, you would lose that definition that the other side had. So now you could see what it looks like, half colored in, half not. Okay, so that is the reason why I always use a spoon when I'm using distinctive art, just because you can have better definition. And then also I swivel clear off the colors in between. So then that way I am not bringing, I'm not blending colors in when I don't want to blend. Okay, so what do you think of this card? Okay, so I am going to give this card away, and how you can get entered is to do a thumbs up or a heart. That will get your name entered into the drawing. Leave a comment. All you have to do is say hi. And if you're new to my channel, all you have to do is say hi, first time watching you, or I live in Tennessee, or hey, I'm from Iowa. So you can get your name entered into the drawing for that. And if you share this on your timeline, number one, I am a little fish in a big pond. I have seen people out there with 300, 400, 500 people watching them. And I have 2, 3, maybe 5 at the most, not all at the same time. So it would help me get my name out there. And also, it might inspire a paper crafter to make a card, send it off, make somebody's day. So that's what I'm doing. Sending a card to someone, so whoever wins it, and then their turn to take that card and send it to somebody to make them smile. So thank you very much for hanging out with me on a Sunday evening. Hopefully I'll be back on Thursday. Take care, have a great week, and happy stamping!